I grew up on a farm. In between that and doing various internships and crop scouting, I've had ample time to become associated with insects and pathogens, as well as different plants and weeds that affect crops. And then I was involved in pest management as an undergraduate here at the University of Illinois, but it really wasn't until I took an entomology class here that my interest was really piqued with insects. I think I began getting interested in insect trapping specifically during my master's degree, and we looked at the dispersal and population dynamics of the corn flea beetle in sweet corn, and it really piqued my interest. And then as I took a job as an extension IPM specialist, a lot of my duties revolved around surveying for different insects in different cropping situations, as well as creating education and outreach materials for those pests. Now I do a lot more with trees and urban areas, as well as orchards and vineyards, and of course different commodities like corn and soybeans. I guess when somebody asks me about considering a green career, I would say probably, why not? You know, there's just so many different opportunities in this particular area. Natural resources are huge, and you know, the world population is continuing to grow. Climate change is another factor. And particularly where I'm concerned, we deal with the ever increase of world trade, and with invasive species being moved around the world at a much faster rate, things that I do become more important in areas of first detection, so we can hopefully mitigate those circumstances and prevent different pests from becoming established. When a student asks me whether or not they should consider a green career, I often say, why not? The opportunities are endless, really, especially when you start looking at natural resources, and specifically when dealing with invasive species like I do. The world population is continuing to increase. There's factors of climate change, as well as world trade growing exponentially. So our risk of invasive species being brought over into the U.S. and Illinois specifically continues to grow. There are lots of different types of invasive species that we're currently looking for, whether it be aquatic or terrestrial. And even with trapping and trying to prevent the introduction of invasive species, there's also lots of jobs that come into play after an invasive species is found, when you look at terms of restoration, and also even just helping the community make better decisions about different trees to plant, or different ways that they can better diversify their resources. I think one of the great things about working at the Illinois Natural History Survey, that it is literally one of a kind. There's nothing else like it in the state of Illinois. We can readily have access to so many different professionals that the survey provides, and we're so close to campus that whenever I need help with a project, the experts in the immediate area are just enormous and so beneficial. The great thing that I like about working at the Illinois Natural History Survey is that it is literally one of a kind. There's nothing else like it in the state of Illinois. Much like my job, there's only one CAPS coordinator in the state of Illinois, and working at the survey, I have access to so many different experts in different fields, and having the availability of University of Illinois researchers nearby as well just adds to the benefits that I have. Invasive species are playing a huge role in natural resources, as well as urban settings, and even in commodities and businesses. When I deal with something like the emerald ash borer, this is a pest that's been present in the U.S. since 2002, and just since that time, it's literally caused the death of millions upon millions of ash trees across the Midwest, and that's something that is not to be taken lightly. So invasive species are very important in our everyday life. And for instance, when you have an invasive species that becomes established in an area, for instance, in a city, and you take something like the emerald ash borer or Asian longhorn beetle, and you have trees that are dying, and those trees need to be removed. One, because they're not providing any additional benefit to the homeowner, but they also are a hazard to power lines or to homes as well. And so when you take those trees out of an area, you're also losing value on your property. So we can put a monetary value on invasive species, but you can also put an aesthetic value, so to speak, on those as well. And while it's harder to come up with a monetary value on, the benefit of the shade it provides or the swing for your grandkids to have in your backyard, it plays a huge part in our everyday life.